Ladies and gentlemen, you see, life is tough. It has a way of coming at you from every direction. People, situations, emotions, they all try to pull you in. They try to make you feel like you're responsible for things that aren't even yours to carry. But here's the truth. There's a power in emotional detachment. It's not about shutting down. It's about learning to live with purpose, to stay focused on what's truly yours to handle and letting go of the rest. Now, let me be clear. Emotional detachment is not about being cold, distant, or indifferent. No, it's about finding strength in your own mind, your own heart, and refusing to let other people's negativity, their expectations, or their drama define who you are. You're not a sponge for their chaos. You're a warrior who knows what to keep and what to release. Detachment isn't something you're born with, but it's something you can build day by day. It's a discipline. When you start to recognize that not everything is your problem to solve, not every storm needs to be weathered by you, that's when you gain real power. You start to choose your battles. You learn that your peace, your mental clarity, your emotional stability, they're sacred. And anyone or anything that disrupts that peace, you let it go. Here's the real key. When you detach emotionally, you are not running away from your feelings. You're acknowledging them, but you're not letting them take the driver's seat. You take control of your responses, your actions. You stop reacting and start acting with intention. That's when you shift from being a victim of circumstance to being a master of your life. You can care deeply about people, about things, but never let them control you. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders to prove you're strong. You don't have to bend, break, or fall to every emotion that hits you. The strongest people, they understand that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to stand firm, stay centered, and let go of the distractions. Remember, the only thing you can truly control is yourself. Your thoughts, your actions, your decisions. When you decide to emotionally detach, you're saying, I choose peace, I choose balance. I choose to stay in the moment. It's not about being detached from life, it's about being present in the right way without being overwhelmed by everything that comes at you. So the next time life throws you a curveball, when someone tries to drag you into their mess, when your emotions start to spiral, take a step back. Breathe. Take control. And with grace and strength, detach. You'll be amazed at how much more you'll accomplish when you stop carrying what's not yours to carry. Emotional detachment is often misunderstood. People think it means becoming cold, distant, or emotionally unavailable, but that's not the case. Emotional detachment, when practiced effectively, is about control. It's about having the ability to process your feelings, but not allowing those feelings to dictate your actions. Life will throw all kinds of situations at you. Some will bring joy, some will bring pain, but how you respond to those situations is within your control. Emotional detachment allows you to step back from your emotions, process them, and then choose the best course of action based on your goals, values, and the reality of the situation. You see, it's natural to feel overwhelmed when emotions run high. In moments of anger, fear, or sadness, it's easy to let those emotions drive your decisions, often with consequences that you may regret later. That's where emotional detachment comes in. It doesn't mean you stop feeling, it means you stop allowing those emotions to take the wheel. Instead of reacting immediately in the heat of the moment, emotional detachment gives you the space to pause and reflect. You gain the clarity to make decisions that align with your long-term values rather than being swept away by the tide of temporary feelings. When you practice emotional detachment, you realize that you don't have to be a slave to your emotions. In fact, emotions are often fleeting. They come, they go, and they don't always have the significance that we assign to them in the moment. The ability to detach emotionally allows you to step outside of those emotions and observe them from a more objective standpoint. By doing this, you give yourself the freedom to assess the situation more clearly. You may still feel anger, sadness, or frustration, but those feelings no longer control you. You can sit with them, acknowledge them, and then choose to move forward without being overwhelmed. True emotional detachment is about responding, not reacting. When you respond, you are making a conscious decision based on thought and intention. When you react, you are letting your emotions lead the way, often with unpredictable or unhelpful results. For example, if someone says something hurtful to you, your first instinct might be to lash out. But with emotional detachment, you can take a step back and choose not to engage with that negativity. Instead, you can decide how to address the situation in a way that aligns with your sense of peace and integrity. You can decide whether to speak your truth calmly or to simply walk away and preserve your emotional well-being. One of the key components of emotional detachment is the realization that not everything is yours to fix or absorb. Many times we take on the emotions of others, trying to solve their problems or fix their pain. But you have to recognize that their emotions are their responsibility, not yours. You can offer support and love, but you cannot carry their burden for them. When you start to emotionally detach, you stop taking on the weight of the world and start focusing on what you can control: your own emotions and your own reactions. This is liberating because it allows you to free yourself from unnecessary emotional labor and focus on what truly matters in your own life. Emotional detachment is not a rejection of emotions, but a commitment to being in control of them. It's about understanding that emotions are temporary and that you don't have to let them define your actions. By practicing emotional detachment, you not only gain peace of mind, but also develop greater resilience, making it easier to handle whatever life throws your way. You said. Emotional detachment isn't about cutting yourself off from emotions or becoming numb to the world around you. It's not about becoming a robot devoid of feelings. Rather, it's about learning to observe your emotions without being ruled by them. In life, things will happen that stir up strong emotions. People will let you down, situations will frustrate you, and losses will cause pain. It's only human to feel these things deeply. However, the power lies in how we respond to those emotions. Emotional detachment helps you separate the emotional charge from the action you take in response. It allows you to pause, evaluate, and decide how you want to move forward rather than reacting impulsively based on feelings that might not reflect the bigger picture. When you understand emotional detachment, you recognize that you can experience emotions fully without letting them control you. Emotions, by their nature, are often transient. One moment you may feel elated, and in the next you might feel devastated. If you allow yourself to become fully immersed in every emotional shift, you risk losing your sense of direction and control. Emotional detachment gives you the ability to step outside of the emotional storm and see things for what they truly are. You begin to realize that the temporary emotions you're feeling don't need to dictate your actions or your mindset. Instead of feeling guilty about experiencing anger, fear, or sadness, you learn to let those feelings come and go without them overshadowing your ability to make thoughtful decisions. This emotional distance allows you to better manage your relationships. Sometimes people around you can become emotionally charged, and their energy can easily influence you. Whether it's a coworker's frustration or a friend's despair, it's tempting to absorb those feelings. However, this creates unnecessary stress and can lead to resentment or burnout. Emotional detachment allows you to support others without losing yourself in their emotions. You can listen, empathize, and provide guidance, but you don't have to carry their pain or be swept away by their struggles. You begin to understand that offering your support doesn't mean taking on their emotional burdens. Instead, you learn how to set healthy boundaries while still being present and helpful. The power of emotional detachment is also found in its ability to help you focus on your own goals. Life is full of distractions, and emotions can often pull you off course. For instance, when you're deeply upset or worried about a situation, it becomes difficult to focus on your long-term objectives. Emotional detachment allows you to create a mental space that keeps you aligned with your purpose. You stop letting every setback or negative experience derail you. Instead of allowing your emotions to cause you to procrastinate or abandon your goals, you stay focused, knowing that emotions are just temporary visitors. You understand that no matter what happens, you don't have to lose sight of your greater vision. Emotional detachment also teaches you the invaluable lesson of acceptance. Not every situation can be controlled, and not every person will behave as you want them to. When you try to control everything, you set yourself up for disappointment. But through emotional detachment, you learn to accept that some things are beyond your influence. It's not about resigning to a passive existence, but rather recognizing the limits of your control and choosing peace over frustration. The more you practice detachment, the more you come to realize that it's the acceptance of life's ups and downs, of both joy and sorrow, that ultimately leads to a greater sense of inner strength and peace. In this space, you give yourself the gift of emotional freedom, unshackling yourself from the need to fix every emotional response, whether your own or someone else's. This mental clarity and emotional independence become the foundation for a healthier, more empowered life. Emotional detachment is a powerful tool for anyone seeking to navigate the complexities of life with clarity and purpose. It allows you to engage with the world in a way that doesn't demand your emotional investment in every situation. In a world where people and circumstances often overwhelm us with expectations and emotional highs and lows, emotional detachment offers a way to remain grounded. It doesn't mean you stop caring or shut off your emotions. Instead, it's about finding the space between experiencing emotions and reacting to them, allowing you to act thoughtfully rather than impulsively. By practicing detachment, you create room to process your emotions in a healthier way, enabling you to make decisions based on what truly matters, not just on the fluctuations of your feelings in any given moment. Every day we face challenges that provoke strong emotional reactions, whether it's a confrontation at work, a personal disagreement, or the weight of unfulfilled expectations. These emotions can be powerful, and left unchecked, they can lead us to make decisions that are not in our best interest. When you detach emotionally, you gain the ability to recognize that feelings like anger, sadness, or frustration are natural but temporary responses. They don't define you or control your actions unless you allow them to. Emotional detachment is about creating a space in which you can acknowledge your feelings, accept their presence, and then choose to not let them dictate your behavior. It's not about ignoring your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about understanding that you have the power to manage them, to hold them without letting them control you. This type of emotional control is crucial in relationships, whether with friends, family, or colleagues. Another key benefit of emotional detachment is the ability to remain focused on your goals even in the midst of external pressure. When emotions are allowed to take control, it becomes much harder to maintain clarity and direction. Stress, anxiety, and distraction can pull you away from what you want to achieve, leaving you scattered and uncertain. But by practicing emotional detachment, you create a mental space where you can stay focused on your long-term vision. You learn that no matter how difficult or challenging a situation might be, it doesn't have to derail your progress. Detachment helps you stay calm and centered, allowing you to approach life's challenges with a mindset that is not ruled by emotion, but instead guided by logic and purpose. Finally, emotional detachment empowers you to embrace a deeper sense of personal freedom. When emotions dictate your actions, you can feel trapped by your reactions to life's ups and downs. Emotional detachment breaks those chains, enabling you to respond with mindfulness rather than reaction. It teaches you the importance of self-regulation, of mastering your internal landscape so that external events don't hold the power to disturb your peace. This freedom gives you the space to live authentically without constantly reacting to the world around you. It allows you to move through life with a sense of calm, making decisions that reflect your true values and not just the temporary emotions you may be experiencing. Emotional detachment is ultimately about taking control of your life, your decisions, and your emotional well-being in a way that honors your inner strength. Emotional detachment is not about becoming indifferent or cutting yourself off from others, but rather about learning to engage with life in a more conscious and purposeful way. It's about gaining control over how you react to the emotions that naturally arise in response to life's challenges. Emotions are powerful forces. They can lift you up in moments of joy or weigh you down when faced with hardship. However, when left unchecked, emotions can cloud your judgment and lead you to act impulsively, often in ways you might later regret. Emotional detachment provides a mechanism by which you can step back, assess a situation more rationally, and make decisions that align with your long-term goals, not just your immediate emotional reactions. By practicing this form of detachment, you train yourself to feel your emotions fully without letting them dictate your actions, allowing you to approach life with more composure, wisdom, and clarity. In a world that constantly demands our attention and energy, emotional detachment also becomes a powerful tool for personal boundaries. Every day we are confronted with situations that can either uplift or drain us, whether it's a heated argument with a colleague, a conflict within your family, or even the external pressures of societal expectations. It's easy to be swept up in the emotional currents of those around us, to take on their stress, their frustration, or their anger as if it were our own. But when you practice emotional detachment, you recognize that while you can empathize with others, their emotions do not need to become your burden. You learn to support and offer understanding without internalizing their struggles. This shift in perspective allows you to maintain your sense of peace and emotional balance, regardless of the chaos happening around you. Furthermore, emotional detachment strengthens your resilience. Life is full of unpredictable twists and turns, and it's easy to become disoriented when things don't go according to plan. Whether it's a career setback, a personal loss, or an unexpected challenge, the ability to detach emotionally gives you the space to process those events without being overwhelmed by them. Instead of reacting with frustration or despair, you approach these moments with a sense of acceptance and a mindset focused on finding solutions. When you detach emotionally, you free yourself from the trap of feeling like every setback is a personal failure. Instead, you see challenges as opportunities to grow and adapt. You develop the resilience to bounce back from adversity, not because you've become numb to the pain, but because you have chosen to focus on what you can control, not what you cannot. In addition to offering clarity and resilience, emotional detachment also fosters a deeper sense of self-awareness. By taking a step back from your emotional responses, you begin to recognize patterns in how you react to certain situations. You start to see how some of your emotional reactions are conditioned responses shaped by past experiences, fears, or insecurities. This awareness opens up the possibility of growth and transformation. With emotional detachment, you can examine your emotional triggers objectively, identify their origins, and choose to respond in ways that are healthier and more aligned with the person you want to be. It's about reclaiming your power over your emotions rather than allowing them to control you. Finally, emotional detachment enables you to live more authentically. We often find ourselves living in reaction to the emotions of others or the demands of the world around us. When you practice emotional detachment, you become less concerned with how others perceive you or how you should feel in any given situation. Instead, you begin to live according to your own values and beliefs. You make decisions based on what truly matters to you rather than what others expect or what emotions might temporarily be clouding your judgment. This authenticity creates a sense of inner peace because you're no longer constantly reacting to the external world. You are rooted in your own truth, unshaken by the fleeting emotions that can sometimes throw you off course. Emotional detachment, then, is not about withdrawing from life, but about engaging with it from a place of power and self-awareness. Emotional detachment, when truly understood and applied, is a powerful tool for emotional mastery. It is not about repressing or suppressing feelings, nor is it about becoming cold or unfeeling. Instead, it is about gaining the ability to observe your emotions from a place of distance, not allowing them to control your reactions or your decisions. It is about finding balance, recognizing that emotions are fleeting and transient, and not allowing them to hijack your mental clarity. When practiced with intention, emotional detachment empowers you to act from a place of peace, even in the most stressful of situations. This shift in perspective allows you to interact with the world around you in a way that is grounded and purposeful, rather than reactive and emotionally charged. One of the core benefits of emotional detachment is that it allows you to stop being overwhelmed by the emotions of others. In our relationships, we often find ourselves absorbing the energy of those around us, whether it's the stress of a colleague, the frustration of a partner, or the anxiety of a friend. We feel the need to fix their problems, calm their emotions, or take on their stress as our own. However, when you practice emotional detachment, you realize that you cannot carry other people's emotional burdens without sacrificing your own peace. It does not mean you stop caring or supporting them, but rather you create emotional boundaries that prevent you from losing yourself in someone else's emotional landscape. You understand that their emotions are their own to manage, and you can offer compassion without becoming consumed by their struggles. This shift not only helps you maintain your emotional health, but it also fosters more balanced and healthier relationships where you are present for others without giving up your own well-being. Emotional detachment also allows you to detach from the need for constant validation or approval from others. In our culture, many people tie their self-worth to the approval of others, seeking external validation to feel seen and valued. This external reliance on others for emotional affirmation can be draining and unstable, leaving you vulnerable to the whims and judgments of others. When you detach emotionally from this need for validation, you start to see that your worth is not dependent on the opinions or approval of others. You begin to trust yourself more deeply and realize that your own inner sense of value is far more important than any external approval. You become empowered to make decisions based on what is right for you rather than what others expect or desire from you. This shift in perspective can dramatically improve your self-confidence, allowing you to live more authentically and in alignment with your true desires and values. In addition to freeing you from external pressures, emotional detachment also helps you gain perspective on your own emotions. Often when we feel overwhelmed by negative emotions, we lose sight of the bigger picture. We become so focused on the intensity of what we are feeling that it can cloud our judgment and distort our ability to see a clear path forward. Emotional detachment allows you to observe your feelings without becoming consumed by them. You can acknowledge and validate your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. This creates space for you to reflect on your emotional responses, understand where they come from, and make choices that are more aligned with your long-term goals and values. Rather than reacting impulsively to every emotional trigger, you can pause, center yourself, and choose to act with intention, clarity, and mindfulness. Furthermore, emotional detachment aids in developing resilience. Life is filled with setbacks, disappointments, and challenges, and it is natural to experience strong emotions when things don't go as planned. However, when you allow your emotions to dictate your response to adversity, you often become stuck in a cycle of frustration or despair. Emotional detachment helps you break free from this cycle by allowing you to process your feelings without being overtaken by them. Instead of wallowing in negative emotions, you are able to shift your focus to problem solving and growth. This shift in mindset fosters greater emotional resilience, enabling you to recover from difficulties more quickly and with greater strength. With emotional detachment, setbacks are no longer seen as personal failures, but as opportunities to learn and evolve. You develop the ability to face adversity with a sense of calm, knowing that your emotions, while valid, do not have to control your actions or hinder your progress. In the end, emotional detachment is a practice that empowers you to live life more consciously, more intentionally, and with greater emotional freedom. By learning to detach from the constant pull of emotions, you create the mental space needed to reflect, respond with wisdom, and act with clarity. You stop being at the mercy of your emotional responses, and instead you take the reins of your emotional world, guiding yourself toward peace, purpose, and a deeper sense of inner strength. Emotional detachment is not about disengaging from life, it is about fully engaging with it from a place of balance, self-awareness, and emotional sovereignty.